Hey Warriors, Torage the Warrior here, and welcome to Rage Talk 9. Rage Talk is just where I talk about warrior stuff. And no, it's not where I rage. A lot of people seem to get that from the title of the show, but no. So today we are going to talk about burst damage, how to do it, why it's important in PvE, and then Armory reviews, because I've gotten quite a few messages this week and last week about people asking me to take a look at their Armory, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. So, burst damage. Now, that's probably something you've heard a lot for warriors and PvP. In any PvP thing, it's really good in PvP to have high burst damage, because then you can kill someone before their friends have a chance to heal them, before they have a chance to heal themselves, before a bunch of other things that will make them not die. You can kill them before that. But in PvE, it's all about sustained damage, which is going to be the most damage that you can possibly do over the course of the entire boss fight. And there are some classes where you want to stagger cooldowns, so you don't want to use, it's more beneficial to use them each on their own than it is to use one at the same time as the other one. Warriors are not like that. The more cooldowns we use on top of each other, the more benefit we get from each one. So in this case, it's a 2 plus 2 equals 5 sort of situation, so you get more for using them at the same time. So if we look at our Skull Banner, it gives us 20% extra damage on our crits, and we look at our Recklessness, which gives us 30% additional chance to critically hit. On their own, they're still good. More crit, awesome. More damage on your crits, awesome. Used together, where you're critting more often and you're critting for more damage, that means you're going to get more crits inside of that time where you have the extra damage on it. So it effectively makes each one better. Also, if we take a look at our Dragon Roar and our Skull Banner, Dragon Roar always crits. So if our Skull Banner is down, that's basically just 20% extra damage onto Dragon Roar. Same thing with our Bloodbath. So if we have a Bloodbath going and then we Dragon Roar, Bloodbath is all of your abilities, bleed for 30% additional damage. So if I have a Bloodbath then Dragon Roar, I will get my bleed damage from that Dragon Roar. And Dragon Roar hits really hard and it hits everything around you, so you'll get Bloodbath on everything that you hit with it for a whole bunch. Bloodbath is also good with Recklessness and Skull Banner because it's 30% of the damage you got from that attack. So if you're critting, you're getting more bleed damage there, and if you're doing 20% more for that crit, you're getting even more bleed damage there. So everything kind of works together to make each other one better. In fact, the only ones that don't really work together are your Recklessness and your Dragon Roar, because Dragon Roar crits automatically, so that's just a wasted Recklessness. And you only have so many cooldowns with Recklessness. It's 12 seconds, so that's going to be 8 global cooldowns you get that 30% extra crit on with your Recklessness. So you always want to hit that Dragon Roar before the Recklessness goes off. So that makes our cooldown order. Now, you can use them in this order. Here we've got Skull Banner, Bloodbath, Dragon Roar, and Recklessness. That's the best way to use them, because you get your Skull Banner down and your Bloodbath out, and then your Dragon Roar. Skull Banner and Bloodbath are off of the global cooldown, so your Dragon Roar will go off like right after you charge, because of course you're going to charge first. So you'll have the 20% extra damage for it, and you'll get the bleed from it. And then Recklessness right after Dragon Roar. And that's Recklessness is also off the global cooldown, so that's going to go in between that, and you're going to probably open with your Bloodthirst Colossus Smash combination. So you'll have that Dragon Roar Recklessness, and then you'll get that auto crit pretty much with Bloodbath. If you've got, you're definitely going to get an auto crit if you have the 4-piece bonus, which makes your Skull Banner give you more crit, and then your Recklessness, and then double crit on Bloodbath anyway. So it's a guaranteed, or Bloodthirst. So it's a guaranteed Bloodthirst crit, which means that after that Colossus Smash, you're always going to be able to use your Raging Blow right there for huge damage, because you're going to have all of your cooldowns going, and it's going to be on Colossus Smash. Also, if you've got 30% crit, or we've got 33% here, plus 30% from our Recklessness, that's 63%. Plus, if we have our 4-piece bonus that gives us 35% extra critical chance from your Skull Banner, that gives our Colossus Smash a 98% chance to crit. So that's also going to give us another Raging Blow. So we're going to be able to use all our charge in, or Battle Shout beforehand. Always Battle Shout beforehand. You want to get that extra rage in there. Potion if you've got it. So we Potion, Battle Shout, use our cooldowns here in this order, the Skull Banner, Bloodbath, Dragon Roar, Recklessness order. Then we use our Bloodthirst that will auto crit. We use our Colossus Smash that once in every like 50 pulls won't crit. So we can pretty much count on that. Then we use our Raging Blow. Then that's 2 global cooldowns in between, so our Bloodthirst is back. So we Bloodthirst again, because you never want to miss a Bloodthirst. And that Bloodthirst is probably also going to auto-crit, because it's only been a few seconds since we used our stuff. So that plus the crit from the Colossus Smash is going to let you line up 2 more Raging Blows. Now, if you don't have your 4-piece bonus, or you're a fresh warrior and you don't have nearly as much crit as I do, I have a ridiculous amount of crit, you can go ahead and use your Berserker Rage here to get that extra Raging Blow in there. So that will let you put 2 Raging Blows back to back after that second Bloodthirst. So that's our burst right there. That's our burst damage. And let's have a quick look at how that's going to go. So we want to, I'm going to go ahead and use a potion here just to show you what it can do. I know it's not in a raid, it's kind of a waste. So we're going to Battle Shout, Potion, charge in, use all of our cooldowns. Hopefully don't lag. Bloodthirst, Colossus Smash. Start Korok striking after that Colossus Smash. Then get our Raging Blows in there. What was that? 330? 330k DPS is where my burst capped out at. So as you can see, like, that's a huge amount of damage in a short amount. I think that was what, 10 seconds, almost 5 million damage. So that's a big boost you're going to want to use there. In fact, I would almost recommend if you might pull, especially if you go in like right with the tank. I would recommend using Die by the Sword as well with this. If you've got a really good tank, you're never going to pull off them anyway. So kind of know your raid there. So if we look at our damage breakdown, we actually have our basic attack is our hardest hitting thing here. And this also goes to show something else, and that's if you've got trinkets, if you've got engineering gloves that you want to use right away, definitely use those. But even your proc chance trinkets, like the way that trinkets work, so as soon as I start attacking here, they're like both going to go off right away, as well as both of my dancing steels. The way those things work is that they just have a very high chance to proc, depending on how long it's been since they last procced. There's a bunch of mathy stuff on it, a bunch of arguments right now, but pretty much at the start of the fight, you're almost going to guaranteed get them. Like I hit it 4 times there, and I got 2 dancing steels, which are 1650 strength apiece, as well as my Shadow Pan Assault thing, which is 8.8k strength, and my Primordius Talisman here, which gives me 1500 strength that stacks up to 5 times. So that's going to stack up like real quick. And if you've got the meta gem, that'll probably go off in there as well, and that does gain benefit for most of your other cooldowns. So you've got all those other cooldowns in there along with all the stuff you're just using regularly. And I accidentally messed up my Skada. Okay, so this time we got a little bit different results, and that's just because in such a short amount of time there's such a huge room for RNG. So as we can still see, like, look how much damage that Bloodbath is doing. So that's just because we've managed to fit in 4 heroic strikes in 1 Colossus Smash, as well as 3 Raging Blows. Now remember, this is just our burst. If you look at our damage over the course of an entire fight, it's going to look way different than this. This is just showing you like why you want to stack all those cooldowns together and how much damage these things can really do if you use everything all at the same time. And this is going to make it so throughout the boss fight you have this burst damage and you're trying to hold on to as much of it as you can until your burst comes back, instead of pretty much playing catch up the entire fight if you don't do it this way. Also, of course, we want to keep in mind that there are some fights where it's not good to use things all when they come off cooldown. So things like Jinrock or Jikun, where you have huge damage bonuses at certain times. Or fights like Megara, where there's going to be times that in between heads there, you don't want to like pop all your cooldowns and then the head dies, and then that time you spend moving to the next head and waiting for it to come up. It's not very long, but it's enough to like waste half of your cooldowns. So keep both of those things in mind. So think when it's not attackable and when you'll do extra damage, and sort of plan for those. So real quick, I want to talk about Armory help questions, and that's I get a lot of questions. They're fine. I love questions. Ask me more questions you can ask me, the better, because I will answer them. But I've gotten quite a few people in the past couple weeks asking me, hey, can you check out my Armory and see if there's any advice you can give me based off of that? And pretty much is what I'm going to do if I check your Armory is I'm just going to plug your character into askmrrobot.com and see what it tells me. So if you've already used Ask Mr. Robot and you're still having problems and still have questions, go ahead and ask me then. But like if that's the only issue you're having there, if you're not sure if you've set up your Armory right, if you're not your character, your gems, your enchants, and all that stuff, Ask Mr. Robot will tell you how to do that pretty easily. One last thing real quick, I did get my Blizzcon ticket, so I will be there. I'll, for the most part, just be walking around having a good time. If you do want to meet up, I will, of course, be at the Feathermoon Realm meeting table and probably the Airy Peak Realm meeting table with all of the Convert to Raid guys. If for some reason you still haven't heard of Convert to Raid is a raiding podcast. If you like raiding, you will most likely like listening to Convert to Raid, and they're just at converttoraid.com. And you know your podcast is serious when you have a podcast about your podcast. And the Convert to Raid guys are, of course, the guys I raid with on my second warrior, Arkaroth, over in the Convert to Raid guild on Airy Peak, US. And it's actually like 5 co-guilds taped together because there's like 5,000 members in this guild now. And it's all about raiding. They've got like 30 raid teams running right now. So it's really super cool. It's all about learning. They've got people who have never raided before, and they've got experienced raiders. So if you're still working on tier 14 and halfway through that, there's a raid for that. If you're already clearing all the way through Throne of Thunder, they got a raid doing that too. So it's a lot of fun over here. That's all for this Rage Talk. I hope you learned something about warriors, and I will see you guys next time. I am calm!